Hello, it's now time to know about what you need to do during the interview, and I'm going to tell you right about that. When you enter the company premises, after that, from the time that you're waiting till the time you complete the interview and leave this place, what are you supposed to do and how are you supposed to conduct yourself? So let's look at that. First of all, when you enter the company premises, you go and wait. That's what happens. You are told to wait for some time before the actual interview takes place. So during this time when you are waiting for the interview, what will you do? There are two options, okay? One is you sit there and you worry about the interview, you feel nervous. And the second option is you do something else. You do something that helps you to get ready for the interview. And what is that? Let me tell you about 3 points. First of all, start doing some deep breathing. Now you know what deep breathing is, right? So you breathe in, hold your breath for a couple of counts, and then you do this very slowly, by the way. You don't do it really fast. You do it very slowly, nicely. Breathe in, hold your breath for a couple of counts, breathe out. And you do it in a very subtle manner. You don't need to show everyone you're doing deep breathing. Hey, look at me. No, not that. Very subtly. Look at me. I'll just try this once more. I am not even closing my eyes. I'm not even making any sound. No noise, nothing. Very quietly, I'm just doing some deep breathing. So that's point number 1. Why do you need to do that? It's because it relaxes you. Your heart rate goes down, your breathing becomes slower, you feel absolutely calm and relaxed. So that's point number 1. Now let's go to the second point. Second point is focus. So while you are doing this deep breathing, you're also focusing. You're focusing on the questions that you need to answer. You're focusing on all the preparation that you have already done. So you just focus on all of these aspects while you are doing deep breathing. Point number 2 done. Now let's look at point number 3. Point number 3 is visualization. Now this is something I suggest that you do even a day before the interview. One day before the interview, what you do is you do visualization. So what is visualization? You close your eyes, and this is one day before the interview, not in the waiting area. You close your eyes and you visualize the interview itself. You visualize that the interviewer or interviewers are asking questions to you and you are answering them successfully, you're answering them confidently, and you're answering them in a very relaxed manner. Visualize success in your mind. That is what you need to do in terms of visualization. Now, on the day of the interview, when you are in the waiting room, what visualization do you do and how do you do it? Well, you are doing your deep breathing, you're focusing on the questions, and you're also in your mind running through that successful interview once more, the one that you visualized a day earlier. So, point number 1, deep breathing. Point number 2, focus. And point number 3, visualization. You do these 3 things well and you will find you're absolutely relaxed and ready for the interview. After you've waited for some time, you will find that you will be called to get into the interview room. So you get up and you walk. How do you walk? You walk briskly with a straight posture and you walk confidently. Remember that every step is important. Not because other people are watching you, but because when you do this, you also feel confident inside. You have an upright posture, you're walking briskly, and you are walking straight. You do that confidently, and you reach the door of the interview room. Now, once you reach the door of the interview room, what do? Well, I suggest just simply knock twice. Tuck, tuck. That's it. 2 times. Open the door and ask for permission. It's just basic courtesy. You open the door, you can see the interviewers there, and you say, "May I come in?" And you will find that the people inside would say, "Yes, please come in." So you very slowly, nicely enter the room and close the door behind you and walk straight to the chair where you are supposed to sit. You stand beside the chair. By the time you reach there, you will find that the interviewer or interviewers would tell you to take the seat, to sit down. But before you sit down, greet the interviewers. If it's morning, say good morning. If it's afternoon, say good afternoon. And after you say that, you sit down. A question that is asked very often to me is, shall I wait for the permission of the interviewers to sit? And my answer is, you do not need to really do that, not necessarily so. You go in there, even if the interviewers are not asking you to sit, wish them good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on the time of the day, and then you slowly take your seat. Now, in this whole process of entering the room, closing that door, going and standing beside the chair and sitting after the greeting, this whole process should be absolutely smooth, and it can only be smooth if you are relaxed inside. So remember what I told you about the waiting area? Those 3 points? If you do that, you will find that you will do this also very well. And now you are seated. What next? Next is about how you sit, where do you keep your things, what are you carrying with you. First of all, your hands, your palms are on your lap, okay, not on the table. Let me tell you something about the table. Most often you will find that there is a table between you and the interviewers. That table belongs to the interviewers, not you. If you remember this one sentence I have told you, the table belongs to the interviewers and not you, then what you will do is you will not put your hands on the table. You will keep your hands on your lap. I'll tell you about the usage of table. Table is to be used only when the interviewers are asking you to write something. For example, if they say solve a problem, then you can take out a notepad, keep it on the table and use your pen or pencil to write. If they give you some information that you need to write and take back with you, again you can do the same. You can use the table, put your notepad on there and then write with your pen or pencil. That's when you can use the table. Otherwise, no. If they ask you to give a document, then you can simply take out a document and give it to them. You don't need to even place it on the table. You can hand it over to the interviewers. So I hope the table is understandable now, the usage of the table. Another important aspect is, what are you carrying with you? So you are probably carrying a folder with your documents, maybe your CV and other documents. You are also probably carrying a bag, may or may not be, but maybe you are carrying a bag. So what do? From the waiting area, when you are going to enter the interview room, before that itself, if you are carrying a bag, then take out the folder from the bag in which you have all your documents and carry both the bag and the folder on one hand and you enter the interview room. Once you sit down, you keep the bag beside the chair and the bag can rest on the chair and you keep the folder with you on your lap. Understood? Absolutely clean process, no problem at all. Do this smoothly. When the interviewers ask for any document, the folder should be very accessible and easy to open and give the document. Take it out from the folder, give it to the interviewers very easily. You can do it quickly if it's organized properly in your folder. So be ready with all these. These are simple things but important for you. The interviewer will see that you're very organized, you're quick and you are ready for the interview. That's the image that you want to portray. Then when the interview starts, how will you speak? So there are 3 points I'll tell you. 1 is voice, 2 is eye contact and 3 is facial expressions. Voice, well, you need to sound natural. That's it. You don't need to sound artificial. You speak the way you speak. So whenever they're asking you questions, the interviewers are asking you questions, you just answer the questions the way you would normally answer anyone. The only thing is, don't speak too loud and don't speak too soft. If you're too loud, it hurts the ears. If you're too soft, can't hear you. So you have to have a level of voice in that room where people should be able to hear you, but you should not sound loud or too soft. This is the part that you need to remember and answer naturally, answer with your voice modulation. Don't be mechanical with a monotone voice. If you just speak the way I am speaking right now, it doesn't sound very good. So you have to express yourself the way I am speaking right now. So whatever I am saying, I am expressing myself. The second point is eye contact. A lot of people ask me, what do I do with eye contact? Do I maintain eye contact? Do I look at the interviewer or interviewers? And my answer is yes. The way you talk to people, what do? Don't you look at them while speaking to them? That's what you do. But don't stare at them. Don't gaze at them like that, right? So you just normally speak the way you speak. The problem that arises with a lot of people is when you're not feeling very confident, you don't tend to look at the eyes of the interviewers and you tend to look everywhere else. For example, you are talking and you're looking up to your right, to your left, you're looking down here and there, but not looking at the interviewer. That's something you should not do. So this is confidence. That confidence needs to be built. You need to tell yourself, I'm there to talk to someone. This person is asking me questions and I'm answering questions. That's it. It's just a discussion. So let's go for that. So maintain eye contact. And the third point, facial expressions. What do I do with my facial expressions? Should be serious? Should I be serious all the time? Should I smile all the time? And the answer is no, not all the time. You smile when you say something interesting or something happy or about an achievement. You can have a little, this light smile that you see on my face, kind of a light smile that I have. Or you can be serious when you're talking about certain other aspects. Okay, this is what happened, this is how I dealt with it, and these are the different points, and that's how you speak, and then you see the expression on the face is serious. So there is this variation of expression. So there are times you smile, there are times you're serious, and there are times you have certain other expressions, but mostly it stays within this. But be natural. That's all I can say. If you are natural with your expressions, there's nothing like it. You don't need to fake it. You just need to be natural. Talk normally the way you have a discussion with everyone. And once the interview is over, then what do? Well, you thank. So what you do is you say thank you, get up from your chair and check if anybody is giving their hand out for a handshake. If you find a hand is coming your way, you also take your hand out, do the handshake, and then you can leave. If there's no hand coming your way, no problem. You say thank you, get up and say thank you and bye, and you leave again very slowly, not too slow, but you walk out of the room, open the door in a very relaxed manner, get out of the interview room, close the door behind you gently, and then you can move out of the interview room. Understood? Now, there are two things that can happen here. Either the interviewers have asked you to wait for a second round, or they have said the interview is over, we'll get back to you, or something like that. That means there's no point waiting anymore. So, if it's the first case where you've been told to wait, then you go back to the waiting room or wherever you've been told to wait and wait there. If not, again briskly walk out of the premises. That's where this whole process of during the interview is done. Now, that's not the end, by the way. We say, okay, interview is over, so it's done, right? No. Let me tell you about a couple of points which you need to consider after the interview. After the interview is over, you're back home, wherever you stay, you're back there. Within 24 hours of the completion of the interview, send an email to the interviewer or interviewers. Now, this can only be done if you have their email address or some contact point who had asked you to go for this interview. That contact point may be a person in talent acquisition in that company, right? If you have someone's email address who was your contact point for this interview, send a thank you email to that person. It's a very simple email. You just say hello or dear so and so and write an email content. The content of the email should be, thank you so much for the opportunity to be interviewed in your organization. It was a very interesting interaction and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Looking forward to hearing from you soon. Something like that, and regards, your name. This is all you've got to do. This is your thank you email. Send that thank you email. Now, if you don't have any email address of any person, then it's fine. You don't send the thank you email because there's nobody to send the thank you email to. Alright, this is the first point after the interview. The second point is applicable for everyone, whether you have the email address or not, because it has nothing to do with that. The second point is reflection. Reflection means after you have finished the interview, you've gone back to where you stay, and reflect about the interview. That very same day or within 24 hours you should reflect, because after that you'll forget about what happened during the interview. It's fresh in your mind, whatever has happened from the beginning till the end. If you go through that whole process and ask yourself, did I answer all the questions perfectly? If not, what could I have done better? Was I walking briskly? Did I enter the interview room properly? Did I sit down properly? Was I relaxed, or was I clumsy? If clumsy, what can I do to ensure that I am not doing the same thing the next time? The whole idea of reflection is, if I have made any mistakes, I should not repeat those mistakes again another time. So these are the points that you need to consider and remember about the interview, about what you need to do during the interview. If you follow this process, if you follow these points well, you will find that your performance in the interview will be much, much better. I wish you all the best that you can follow this process and perform well in the interview.